Breaking records, shattering expectations, the incredible journey of Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland is one of the most talked about footballers in recent times, known for his impressive pitch performance and incredible goal-scoring abilities. From his early beginnings in Norway to his rise to stardom at Borussia Dortmund, we dive into the life of Erling Haaland, exploring his personal and professional journey, key achievements, and the impact he had made on the world of football up until now. Erling Haaland was born in Leeds, England on July 21, 2000. His father, Alf Inge Haaland, was a former professional footballer who played for teams like Nottingham Forest, Leeds United, and Manchester City. Erling spent the early years of his life in Bryn, a small town in Norway, where he developed a passion for football. At age 4, Erling joined his local football club Bryn FK, where his father was a sporting director. He quickly made an impression with his natural talent and work ethic, scoring an astonishing 261 goals in just 201 games for the youth team, Molde FK. In 2016, at 15, Erling joined the youth academy of Norwegian giants Molde FK, where he continued to impress with his goal-scoring abilities. He made his professional debut for the club in 2017, scoring 4 goals in his first game. With that, he became the youngest player in the league to score a hat-trick. Haaland's performances for Molde soon earned him a reputation as one of Norwegian football's most exciting young talents. He scored regularly for the club, finishing the 2017 season with 4 goals in 20 league appearances. Haaland played a more prominent role in the Molde team the following season, scoring 16 goals in 30 league games as the club finished second in the Eliteserien. He also debuted for the Norwegian national team in September 2018 as a substitute in a UEFA Nations League match against Cyprus. RB Salzburg. Haaland immediately impacted Salzburg, scoring a hat-trick on his debut in the Austrian Cup. He then scored 2 goals in his first league game for the club and continued to find the back of the net regularly throughout the rest of the season. He scored 29 goals in 27 appearances for Salzburg in the 2019-2020 season, including 8 goals in the Champions League group stage. Borussia Dortmund. In December 2019, Borussia Dortmund signed Erling Haaland for a reported 20 million euros from Austrian club Red Bull Salzburg. He debuted for Dortmund on January 18, 2020 as a second-half substitute and scored a hat-trick in a 5-3 win against FC Augsburg. He scored 2 more goals in his second game against FC Köln, becoming the first Bundesliga player to score 5 goals in his first 2 matches. He won January's Bundesliga Player of the Month award despite being on the pitch for only an hour in the league. Haaland then scored a brace in his third game against Union Berlin, becoming the first player to score 7 goals in the first 3 Bundesliga games. In the Champions League, Haaland scored both goals in Dortmund's 2-1 victory over Paris Saint-Germain in the round of 16. He had already scored 8 goals for Salzburg in the group stage, making it 10 for the competition in only his 8th appearance. However, Dortmund lost in the return leg and was eliminated. Following the Bundesliga's return in May 2020, Haaland scored his 10th goal in Dortmund's 4-0 win over Schalke 04. He scored both goals in a 2-0 win against RB Leipzig, securing second place for Dortmund and Champions League football the following season. Haaland ended his 2019-2020 campaign with 44 goals in 40 club appearances for Salzburg and Dortmund combined. Continued success. Haaland successfully started the 2020-2021 season with Borussia Dortmund. He scored 2 goals in their first match, a 3-0 win over Borussia Mönchengladbach, and scored in their game against Bayern Munich in both the DFL Super Cup and league matches. He was named Bundesliga Player of the Month for November after scoring 4 goals in 32 minutes in a 5-2 away victory against Hertha BSC. Haaland continued his goal-scoring run in the Champions League, becoming the fastest player to reach 15 goals in the competition, achieving the feat in just 12 games. Haaland suffered a hamstring injury ahead of Dortmund's 5th group match against Lazio, causing him to miss some games. He returned in January, scoring 2 goals in their match against RB Leipzig and 2 more against Mönchengladbach. He also scored 2 goals in the first leg of the Champions League round of 16 against Sevilla, helping Dortmund secure a 3-2 away victory. Despite being substituted off in the second half of their reverse league fixture against Bayern due to injury, Haaland had already scored 2 goals in the opening 10 minutes of the match, bringing his senior career total to 100 goals in 146 appearances. In the second leg of the Champions League round of 16 against Sevilla, Haaland scored another brace, becoming the fastest and youngest player to reach 20 goals in the competition, as well as the first player to score multiple times in 4 consecutive Champions League appearances. Haaland missed some matches due to injury but returned to Dortmund's starting lineup in May for the 2021 DFB Pokal final, where he scored 2 goals in their 4-1 win over Leipzig. He ended the season with 41 goals in all competitions, including 27 in the league. earning him the fan-voted Bundesliga Player of the Season award and finishing as the top scorer of the Champions League with 10 goals. He was also awarded the competition's best forward. Starting the 2021-2022 season, Haaland scored a hat-trick against Wien Wiesbaden during the first round of the DFB Pokal on August 7, 2021. In the next week, he scored twice and assisted 2 more goals as Dortmund defeated Eintracht Frankfurt 5-2 on the first match day of the Bundesliga. Haaland suffered a hamstring injury in the early months of the season, but made a comeback on October 16 and scored 2 goals in a 3-1 win against Mainz. He was then out of the game for 2 months due to a hip flexor injury. Haaland returned on November 27 and scored his 50th Bundesliga goal in a 3-1 win against Wolfsburg. This achievement set a new record for the fewest appearances, and he also became the youngest player to reach 50 league goals. On May the 10th, Dortmund announced that Haaland would leave the club at the end of the season to join Manchester City. Manchester City Premier League club Manchester City signed Haaland on July 1, 2022 after activating his €60 million release clause. Haaland made his competitive debut in the FA Community Shield on July 30th and scored 2 goals on his league debut on August 7th against West Ham United. He scored his first Premier League hat-trick in a 4-2 victory against Crystal Palace on August 27th, followed by a second hat-trick 4 days later in a 6-0 win against Nottingham Forest, making him the fastest individual in Premier League history to score 2 hat-tricks. In September, he scored 2 goals in his Champions League debut against Sevilla, becoming the first player to score 25 goals in 20 appearances. Haaland also became the first player in Premier League history to score a hat-trick in 3 successive home games, achieving this in City's 6-3 win against Manchester United on October 2nd. On December 28th, Haaland scored his 20th Premier League goal in City's 3-1 away win over Leeds United, becoming the first player in history to reach that milestone. On January 22, 2023, Haaland scored his 4th hat-trick against Wolverhampton Wanderers, giving him 25 Premier League goals after just 19 games, surpassing the previous season's top scorers Mohamed Salah and Son Heung-min. Norway national team Haaland, born in Leeds, was eligible to play for England but expressed his desire to play for Norway, according to England manager Gareth Southgate. Haaland debuted for Norway's senior national team on September 5, 2019 against Malta after being called up by manager Lars Lagerbäck. He scored his first international goal for Norway in September 2020 in a 1-2 loss against Austria and then scored a brace against Northern Ireland 3 days later. Haaland scored his first international hat-trick in a 4-0 win over Romania in a Nations League B match on October 11, 2020, bringing his tally for the senior team to 6 goals in 6 games played. During the September 2021 international break, he scored 5 goals in 3 World Cup qualification matches, including a second hat-trick for Norway in a 5-1 win against Gibraltar. Haaland has become one of the most talked about young football players in the world, surpassing all expectations from scoring an impressive hat-trick on his Bundesliga debut for Dortmund to setting numerous records in the Premier League with Manchester City. Haaland's talent and goal-scoring prowess have left fans and critics alike in awe. As he continues to break records and impress on both the club and levels, it's clear that Haaland is a force to be reckoned with in the football world.